We're now streaming live on Facebook. Kara.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our 25th segment of What About Your Story Saturdays, brought to you by Lion at Heart, Discovering Courage and Greatness Within, a leadership, personal, and spiritual growth book that was written by our good friend Kai Hayes. I'm honored to host in behalf of Kai Hayes tonight, and our topic tonight is taken from chapter 11 of her book, which is called You Are the Author of Your Own Life. So without further ado, allow me to showcase you, our Lion at Heart Circle of Peace, to share their personal views on this beautiful chapter. Christianne, over to you.
Thank you, Lioness Kara. You look beautiful tonight, if I may say so.
Oh, thank you.
That all of you do. I love the red. In case you're wondering why we're wearing red, let me just let you know that red stands for heart, because we are the Lion at Heart. It also stands for how we are all saved through the blood of Jesus. And next weekend is Valentine's Day. So just a hint, get yourself ready for the ones you love. We, the Lionesses, want to take a minute to dedicate this last chapter to our fellow lioness Kiki, who is tending to her heart and family today. This is the 33rd anniversary of her mother, Louisa Thomasina's passing from this earth. Please take as much time as you need, Kiki. We love you and we're here for you. Also, our sister lioness Sylvia, whose dear mother passed just a few days ago. Our hearts are with you. And special prayers also for, we have some special dedications here. Mark, who has left this earth and left his amazing wife, Christy, and their 3 amazing children, Jill, Jessie, and Jada. Kara just came today from the funeral, and I know her heart is full. We love you, Kara, and we're here for you.
Thank you.
We also want to dedicate this to Benny, who is Emmie's uncle, and he died just last month, also passed from this earth. And Emmie, I know how special he was to you and how much you loved him, and I know we'll hear more later. So we're going to dedicate this to him as well. And then also Lioness Riza. Her sister Evangeline died last month. And also in 2017, her sister Emma. And it was especially hard this last month because of the COVID, just like so many of you, when people were not able to be with their loved ones, you know, in their final days, or even gather together to mourn together in many places. So I really got hit with my heart today, just with all the loss. And I was praying, and God put this song on my heart. And so I feel like God wants all of you, all the lionesses and lions, and everyone listening, to think of this song being sang to you by our God. Kara, can you please play the song? And the song is called, it's by the Casting Crowns, and it's called Just Be Held. Go ahead, Kara. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hold it all together, everybody needs you strong. The life hits you out of nowhere and barely leaves you holding on. And when you're tired of fighting, chained by your control, there's freedom in surrender. Lay it down and let it go. So when you're on your knees and answers seem so far away, you're not alone, stop holding on and just be held. Your world's not falling apart, it's falling into place. I'm on the throne, stop holding on and just be held. Just be held. Just be held. When your eyes are on the storm, you wonder if I love you still. But When your eyes are on the cross, you know I always have and I always will. And not a tear is wasted. In time you understand. I'm painting beauty with the ashes. Your light is in my hands. Sing it. So when you're on your knees and answers seem so far away, you're not alone. Stop holding on and just be here. Your world's not falling apart, it's falling into place. I'm on the throne, stop holding on and just be here. Just be here. Just be here. Lift your hands, lift your hands. In the storm is where you find me. And where you are, hold your heart. I'll hold your heart. Come to me, find your rest. In the arms of the God who won't let go. Sing it with me. So when you're on your knees and ecstasy, your world's not falling apart, it's falling into place. I'm on the throne, stop holding on and just be here. Just be here. Just be Just be
Wow, thank you, Kara.
You're welcome.
I know that this is such a hard time for everyone, but God is here with us. And that song just really speaks to my heart, and I'm sure it did for you guys as well. Let's get to meet some of our Lionesses right now. And why don't we start with you, beautiful Kara? Why don't you tell us a little bit about why you joined Lion at Heart and a little bit about who you are?
Okay, thank you. I am Kara Petron. I live in northern Minnesota. So it's very, very chilly today. It's about 14 below zero. So, and the wind's been blowing, so that makes it about 30 below with the wind chill. So we stay strong up here with the cold weather. I have a wonderful husband, Joe, and today is our 11th anniversary, actually. So we're celebrating our anniversary today. And I have 3 beautiful children. Caitlin is 21, Kelsey is 19, and Levi is 10 years old. And we do a lot of fun stuff. We love just doing outdoor activities and spending time with friends. And so when I would just have to say, when I was asked by Kai to be part of the Lion at Heart journey, it was just a true blessing from the Lord. You know, Kai could have asked anybody. She knows so many people. She could have asked so many people, and she asked us. And I feel really honored to be part of the pioneering group of the Lionesses. I just feel blessed to be part of it. And I just really want people to know that no matter what you're going through, you're not alone. My dream is to share my struggles and my successes with those who need love and support to get through their dark times, because we all have dark times, and we all have to know that everybody has a story, and we really need to just open our hearts and be there for people who need us, because all of us need people at one time or another in our lives. So that's really why I joined the movement, and I've just been so blessed from day one to be able to be that to people and do that with you. So thank you.
Oh, that is so beautiful, and happy anniversary, lovebirds.
Thank you.
And Kara, perhaps you can share, since Kiki is watching us. We love you, Kiki. if you could share her reason for joining Lion at Heart.
Yes. Hi, Kiki. Wish you were here tonight, but we're thinking of you. Kiki said that she joined Lion at Heart Freedom Journey because she's sure that God heard her prayers of finding a way to help others, to be the voice for the voiceless. She said that the Lion at Heart Journey movement will be the bridge for so many that think that there is no way out, but there is. She wants everyone to know that there's always a way out, and we are all here to show them the way.
Wow, Kiki, that's just beautiful. And may I say, Kara, I heard the song, You Can't Cry Pretty, but you still cry pretty.
Yep, I've had
So I beg to
days.
differ. Well, my name is Christianne DeMoro, and I'm 61. I'm the eldest of 5 children from Yonkers, New York. And yes, my family has a beautiful New York accent. I'm happily married to my husband, Dominic, who is the most amazing man who I just love so very, very much. I have 2 amazing daughters. My oldest daughter lives in Colorado. She's married to an awesome man, Dan McComb, and they just purchased their first house. Yay! And they'll fill it with grandchildren, I know. And my second daughter, Mary Janelle, lives at home with me now, but she said, Mom, don't get used to it. I'm moving out soon. She works in the medical community here at Emerson Hospital. And I go to an amazing global church, the International Churches of Christ, here in Boston, Massachusetts. And I want to share with you my reason. My reason for joining is that I want to bring hope to every single person that I meet. And I want them to know the reason why they have hope is that they can do anything, with God. And so that is my reason for joining Lion at Heart. This is my passion. I'm so excited. Thank you, Kai and Greg Hayes. And thank you, Nico, their amazing son. You've just brought myself and my family into your family, as with the rest of us Lionesses. And we love you a lot and we respect you immensely. So let me pass on to Lioness Emmie. Can you tell us a little something about yourself and your reasons for joining?
Thank you, Christian. Good evening, everyone. I am Emmie Cadavez from Rio Grande City, originally from Philippines. I am happily married of 25 years to my husband, Joji, and we're blessed with 2 beautiful children, very amazing children. Jeff, 24, is now studying at the University of Houston Optometry College, and Emily, 15 years old. She's 9th grade at the IDEA school district here in Rio Grande City in our town. I am currently working as a microbiologist and medical technologist at Stark County Memorial Hospital. And I am a pioneering member of the Lion at Heart Freedom Journey movement. And the reason I joined this movement is that I want to serve the many and be the voice for the voiceless, for that to empower the voiceless to unleash their own greatness. Thank you.
Oh, that's beautiful, Emmie. You have one of the most loving hearts of anyone that I know. Appreciate you sharing. And now it's your turn, Lioness Riza. So if you can unmute yourself, we would love to hear a little bit of something about your life and your reasons for joining.
Hi, everyone. I'm Riza Connell from Atlanta, Georgia, married to my wonderful husband, a Christian man. And I have a beautiful son who's in the Philippines now. By the way, I'm originally in the Philippines, and my son is doing a good job for himself, and he's a fine young man. He finished a degree with an aeronautical technology, and by the way, I'm also a dentist by profession. And the reason why I'm joining this amazing Lion at Heart Freedom Journey movement, because I want to uplift the spirits of the people and help them walk to the light with Jesus. Thank you, Christian.
Well, Riza, that's as beautiful as your smile. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Well, this is chapter 11. You are the author of your own life. Now, when you first hear that, you may think Kai's saying, hey, everything depends on you. Well, if you know Kai, Kai shows us in word and in action that she is a woman of great faith. Kai often asks God for help. In the Bible is the book of Daniel. And this reminds me, oh goodness. Let's see, well, Daniel's name in Hebrew means God is my judge, not men. Kai teaches that to us often. So like Kai, Daniel lived his young life in poverty and in struggle. He was taken captive at 17 years old to become a slave, but he was a young man of faith, and he continued living his life in truth to honor God. The king heard of Daniel's wisdom, and he appointed him a governor and chief of all of his advisors. And I'm sure some of you can relate to this today. But one of his peers became jealous of Daniel's position and his favor with the king. He was a slave. It should have been me, not him. So they convinced the king to set a decree that for 30 days, no one could pray to anyone or any god except the king. Oh, of course, the king was flattered and he agreed and said yes. But then Daniel threw in, and they should be thrown into a den of hungry lions if they did. Well, Daniel stayed faithful to God, as they knew he would, and was happily thrown into the lion's den by his peers. Oh, the king was distraught. He was up all night crying out and praying to Daniel's God even. He had been tricked. So in the morning, he rushed to the cave with the guards, and they rolled away the large stone. And what did they see? Daniel was completely unharmed. The king was overjoyed and angrily had the jealous peers thrown into the den, and they were instantly devoured. Now, Lioness Emmie, let's start with you. Have you ever been unfairly targeted by people and felt alone, and then you prayed to God, and God helped you or sent someone in? What happened, and how did you feel?
Oh, Christian, reflecting on the story of Daniel, I just want to share the struggles I have, because the latest struggle this is freshly, that is very common to everyone right now, is the pandemic times. So I didn't see this coming. My life was so normal. Everything was in balance, my career, my entrepreneurship business. And I just have a trip from Cancun. I was in the top of my life. And then March came and the pandemic hits the United States and in Texas especially. So at that time, back in March, my director has to stay home because of her age is at risk. And since I'm the senior one next to her, I have to step up as a lead medical technologist in my department in the laboratory where I work, Stark County Memorial Hospital. And it was really a challenging times for me because there is really uncertainty in this pandemic, and then facing this responsibility in front of me, dealing with the virus, was really the worst time of my life, that I have to think that I was like Daniel, just like in the story of Daniel, I was like trapped. This one, I describe myself that I was in a forest. I was in the middle of a fence forest that I cannot go out, and that I have to just respond to the need and calling of the time. So I step up, I run the department, and this was with my faith. I run it with the faith I have. It is bigger than what is my worries right at that time, because you hear all the news. We are becoming the hot spot in our area. We are in not national TV. So one morning I sit down, because back in June, July, my son was here. So we sit down one morning and I told them, my whole family, that whatever happens to me, since I am a healthcare worker, a frontliner, I have everything in my binder. I have my insurance, my life insurance. Whatever happens to me, I just have to be positive because there is no way out. I have to run and I have to make sure that the operations are ongoing because the public needs me, the community needs me. I have to be opening a testing there of COVID. And it really is a high risk to me and the employees around me. But we have a team. There was really a teamwork among us. And the struggles is you can just see on their faces and their fear on their eye. I pray every day when I go to work. Sometimes I go to work at 7 and I go home like at 8 o'clock. And this is us without lunch. Sometimes we go on and on just to serve. And God really showed his mercy and love and stepped into the overwhelming challenges in my life. And there was a help. Emergency response team came to our hospital and sent 9 employees in my department helping my operations. That was a lot of help. That was a blessing to us. And some of them are still here. And I really want to thank the Lord. I could thank the Lord enough for the protection, the help, and for making us go through now we're in and never been very sick with what happened to the virus around us in this pandemic time. So thank you. That was my sharing.
Wow, Emmie, thank you for just being so open with what you were going through with your family. And let us just take time right now just to thank you and all of the frontline workers, no matter who you are, in the hospitals, the nurses, the doctors, the people helping with testing in the nursing homes and the long care, and all of the law enforcement, helping to provide, security for everyone. We thank you for your service. And
You're welcome,
we love
Christianne.
you and all of you a lot. And now let's see if we can hear a little bit from our lioness, Riza. Riza, have you experienced that in your life? And tell us a little about it if you can.
Yes, Christian. I remember my past. I will share it with you. I have been a single mother for 19 years. I took care of my son and sent him to a good Christian school because I wanted him to grow to be a fine young man, and I have full respect for others. I work hard for him. I taught him to be peaceful and not to be a troublemaker. It was difficult. My parents were not around in times of need because they already went to be with the Lord. But I had my sister to help take care of us. I did the best I could for us. I had lost everything. It was a time that I wanted out of my life. But my anchor was my Lord and my Savior, Jesus Christ. I always pray and ask for forgiveness and ask Him to guide me and intervene in my life. And I step up. I'm a strong woman. I fight it and never give up. And the Lord answered my prayer and put a Christian man in my life. And that was the beginning of my joy. Thank you, Jesus.
Wow, 19 years, what you've gone through, so mirror Kai Hayes's life, being a single mom for so long. But just like Kai, I know you both have raised stellar, amazing, loving sons. And they're just a testament, to your heart and to your faith and your strength. So thank you so much for sharing that. Wow, lions and lionesses, life can be unfair. So let's see. Let's bring up another question, because I know sometimes life slams you hard and it knocks you to the ground when you least expect it. Kai Hayes shares about several of those times in her own life. One, a life-threatening illness that affected her husband. He almost died, but thanks to God, he survived. Kai also had several personal situations where people were hurtful with their words and were not supportive of her while she was working so hard for others. She prayed through her pain and her emotions, and she now has compassion and forgiveness in her heart and her actions to those who had hurt her. So Lionesses, let me ask you, can you, Emmie, we'll start with you again. Can you share a painful or a serious situation that almost stopped you in your journey, that threatened to derail your dreams? What did you do and how did it turn out?
Oh, Christian, this is such a very challenging question because I have so many painful experiences that I could share, and it will take a lot of time. But tonight, I just want to share to you the latest one that also I want to honor my Tito Benny. The latest one was when my Tito Benny passed away back in November. It was Thanksgiving Day here in the United States, and he just passed away on his sleep. He's not just an ordinary uncle for all of us and my siblings. He was the person that took care of me since I was a newborn. There was some family issues, so he decided to help out my father and my grandma to be able to take care of me as a baby, raise me from then until I grew up into an adult person. So during that time, he was like my father figure. I've seen my dad many times, but I lived with him and he raised me. He sent me to school. And then in college, my Tita Telma, Chart, and him raised me and gave me a great education in college. And I graduated with great degree in Bachelor's of Science in Medical Technology, became a professional. And my uncle was there raising me. And you know, the person that I am right now radiates a lot of his core values and the unconditional love that he poured on me where I was growing up. So I have so much of that, and it radiates me. And people would always tell me, my God, you're a wonderful person. And every time it really brings back to the memory of how he raised me. It was just so sad. It saddened me so much. I couldn't even fathom the pain I'm going through that time, but I have to be strong because it was his time. He was 90 years old and he died peacefully. So now I can move on and just bring back the memories that we have together, made me a stronger person. And I'm looking forward to that day that I can see him again and be with him and tell him that I love him so much. In fact, on his funeral service, I released a letter about him, about us, and about the way and the legacy he lived on me. So he will be forever be in my heart in a special way. Thank you, Christian.
Well, Emmie, that's hard to speak after that. I can see and feel the emotion, the pain, as well as the love of so deep inside you. And he must have been a really special man. I wished I met him, but I feel like I've met him by getting to know you because you are a deeply loving woman and anyone can depend on you. And I just want to hold you up for that. So thank you so much for sharing that painful
Welcome,
time in
Riza.
your life. And Lioness Riza, would you like to share a time in your life that just almost knocked you down? And what happened and how did you deal with it?
Oh, Christian, it was painful for me. My sister was hospitalized for a week, and then one day I woke up with a call from my niece, her daughter from North Carolina. I was shocked when she said to me that her mom passed away. I checked my phone and I have a text with my sister here in Pennsylvania. This happened last month. It was so painful that I could mourn her and be with my family. And this also pandemic going on all over the world. You can travel. I feel that I'm stuck. The thing that I could do was send money for help. Two, my sisters passed away when I'm not there. 2 years ago, my other sister. It made me vulnerable and weak. By accepting the situation right now, it made me strong. And I just hang on to our beautiful memories. And I love my sister so much. It's so painful. It's difficult to see them. I can blame this pandemic world. And I'll pray that God will give us mercy for this virus that surrounding us. Thank you, Christian.
Thank you, Riza, so much. And your words come from everyone's lips and hearts as well. And my heart goes out to you. I can't imagine losing your second sister, and at such a time that you can't be there with her. But I know, because of how deep your love is, that she knew how much she was loved by you. And you don't need to worry about that. I just want to say there's just so much pain and sorrow in this world. So let's let us be there for each other and support each other, because you never know. You see someone's smiling face, or you think someone is, just a grumpy or a mean person. You have no idea what's going on in that person's life. So please try and be Jesus to someone. One time someone almost knocked me over in the street, and I think of myself as a very kind person, but I had an instinct to just say, oh my goodness, could you please watch out? You almost knocked me into the road. And I looked at the person and they said something kind of snide to me. I didn't even say a word. But then I waited for a moment and I said, okay, let's be Jesus. And I said to them, I said, wow, I'm sorry. I said that, I was in your way. I hope that you forgive me. And they turned around and looked at me, and we're going to say something mean, but then they realized what I said and they said, oh, no problem. I'm sorry too. Now I could have just, let loose on them, which would not be characteristic of me, but I have my days as well. But you never know what was going on in that person's life. They could have been coming back from a funeral. They could have just lost someone in the pandemic. They could have lost their job. I might be the only kind person in their life that day. So right now, with the way the state of the world is, I just wish that everyone would just take a look and treat each other as human beings, and just try not to be pain in someone's life, but to help ease the pain in someone's life. So, Lionesses, I want to thank you for opening up your hearts and listening to each other. We are grateful, and we pray for each one of you listening today. But now it's time for our last question. And I think I'm going to start with Kara this time. Kara, let's think of what inspires us most, the ones we love and care for in our lives. Kaihes expresses her belief that every life has a purpose. What is a core belief in your heart that you stand for, that you make decisions on, that you live your life with? What is the legacy that you want to leave behind when your time on earth is over? Can you share a little with us?
That's a deep question, but I think, we're all trying to find our purpose in life. We all want to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do. And I'm so emotional today because I just laid my dear friend Mark, we laid him to rest today, and he was only 50 years old. And my dear friend Christy and her 3 kids we're going to take care of her, but they've been high school sweethearts, and he battled ALS, and he taught me so much about love. And, we try so hard to want the next best thing. We're like, okay, I want to have a better job. I want to have a better this, a better that. Like, we're always aiming for the better thing, that we need to stop and just be in the moment and remember that we're on this earth to love and to make the world a better place. And he taught us that, because even in his last breaths, he would talk about enjoying the moment of silence and just being quiet and just enjoying the things that we take for granted, which is family and time just to look at the sunset and look at this beautiful snow falling and, you know, all of the things. So when I think of my purpose, you know, I used to think to myself, what is my purpose? You know, am I living it out? Am I doing enough? And you know what? All that matters is that we love one another and we show kindness. And if I could leave a legacy, I would just like to be known as someone that people would say like, oh my gosh, she was so kind. She was so nice. We all have moments where we're crabby, but I own a family business with my family. My dad has owned it for like 35 years and I'm working with him now. And you know, you get customers sometime and I'm sorry, Lord, forgive me, but you kind of look, there's people that come in that you don't really look forward to seeing because you know it's going to be kind of a rigmarole or there's always something. And, you know, I really try to go by kind of a rule of thumb that I just think to myself, what if that person was Jesus? What if that person was Jesus in someone else's clothing? You know, how would I treat Jesus? And that has gotten me through so many situations where I feel like being crabby or I feel like just being kind of annoyed because they, you know, a certain thing, you know, whatever, it doesn't matter what it is, but we're human. So we tend to, like you said, with the person who shoved you, instead of getting annoyed, we need to look at it like, how can we be a light in that person's life? And I always make sure to either give a compliment or open the door for that person, or just to remember that whether it's someone from a walk of life that is a wealthy person or someone that is homeless, everyone deserves love. And I just hope I leave the legacy of someone that has shown love and kindness to anybody, no matter who they are, because we all need love and it's important to do and we forget that sometimes. So that's what I'd like to leave.
Wow, I love your world. I wish more people had those same thoughts. And I think more and more as the world is going on, more and more people are realizing that we need more love and we need more kindness. Wow, your words could have been my words. I'll just share for a quick moment. I went to go to the dentist in Boston. And normally when I go, there's lots of homeless people around. So I like to try and bring, you know, some dollars and things that I can give to people as I go on my way. Well, there was no one out on the streets, you know, with the pandemic, but I did see this one man in the corner and he wasn't even looking up at people. He just looked so dejected. So I reached in, I don't normally tell people this, but I reached in and I gave him some money. And all of a sudden I hear, oh, lady, you gave me the wrong thing. You meant to give me $1, but you gave me $20. And he was handing it back to me. And oh my goodness, that just like broke my heart. And I looked at him and I said, no, I knew that I was giving you a $20 bill because I just saw you sitting there and God just put it on my heart to give that to you. And in typical Boston fashion, he says, oh my God, lady. He said, thank you so much. And my heart just went out to him. And honestly, I get as much out of giving as the person who you're giving to. It's a funny thing how God works that out. It's like a win-win. I love those circumstances. But even if I got nothing out of it, I would so want to do that. Just like you say, I want to be known for treating people with value, no matter who they are and no matter what's happening. I want them to know that God loves them unconditionally. There's not a thing they could do to make God love them more. Sorry. And there's also not a thing you can do to have him love you less. And so that is what I would like to leave as my legacy. And I'm so not perfect in that, but I'm working hard at it every day. So Lioness Emmie, let's go to you next. What would you like to leave as a legacy when you leave this earth?
Thank you, Christian, for that profound question. Okay, I want to leave that people will remind me as that loving person that is filled with faith. And of course, my core values, integrity. I just want to share the love that I had been filled since I was little until now, that unconditional love, because I won't misjudge people when they come into my life, when they cross my path. I would always think that that person, whether it's a beggar or a CEO of some kind of company, or an ordinary or a religious person, I treat them with love and respect. That because I want them to feel special, that they came to my life for a reason. So I always have that legacy in me, and I always want people or anyone that cross my path to feel special around me. That I'm always gonna be there, that person, that a home, a person that they can run to, a person that can give them hope and is full of spirit, faith, and of course integrity, which is it is the foundation of my being, because I always want to do right things even if people are not watching, because well, it's between you and your God at the end of the day. So that is me, I walk my life with that core values. Thank you.
Wow. Emmie, thank you so much. And I must say that that question, thank you so much for thanking me, but that question actually came from Kiki. That was on her heart. So I switched out my question and we put hers in because I thought that was just a very important, profound question to ask as well. So thank you for saying that. Thank you, Kiki. Now, Lioness Riza, would you like to share with us?
When I'm gone, my legacy that I want them to remember about me is my unconditional love. And I'm full of faith. And they will remember me, how I love them. And I'm a gift giver. And I'm always there with them, especially my family. Even I'm gone, I will pray for them for good. Thank you so much, Christian.
Wow, that's beautiful, Riza. You know, just thinking about Kai's book and what brought us all here today, Kai teaches us that God is the true lion, and we are all his lions and his lionesses. And she wants us to help live our lives with strength and mercy. She wants us to fight on. So we want to help you because we have been helped. We want you to learn from us, reach out to us so that we can just learn the lessons we've learned from Kai Hayes through her book about how to live your life with courage. We want to help you discover your inner greatness. We want to find your inner lion or your inner lioness. So please, everyone, go to purchase out Kai's book, Lion at Heart, thank you, Riza, .kaihayes, KAIHAYES.com to purchase your book. And with Valentine's coming, and because of any value you may have gotten from us simple people just sharing our hearts, please purchase a book for a friend of yours and come join our Lion at Heart Freedom Journey movement on Facebook. And we have amazing t-shirts. You've probably seen our posts and we just love them. We feel so amazing in our t-shirts. So please grab one for a friend for a gift. And we just want to let you know that 50% of the proceeds of Kai's book, she sends to right now St. Rita's Orphanage in the Philippines and different projects around the globe. So every time you purchase a book or a t-shirt, you're helping someone somewhere in the country, little children, elderly people, people who want to pass on the word of God. So we just so encourage you to help us in our journey. And don't fear, this might be the last chapter, but it's not the last you're going to hear from us. We have, yes, and we have other circles. We are the circle of peace. And as you probably figured out from hearing us, peace also has a different meaning. because we fight for our peace. We fight for the peace that transcends understanding, for the
Yes.
peace that God alone can give us. And we have the circle of joy, the circle of light, the circle of courage coming. So get ready. We're going to have some amazing, amazing Facebook Lives coming up. And we want to ask you, if you have any struggles or any area that you would like us, the Lionesses and the Lions, to help talk about and discuss and maybe help you through your struggle, please contact us on our Freedom Journey movement on Facebook and let us know what you would like to hear from us. So right now, Kai Hayes and Greg Hayes, we know you're out there and we know you're watching.
Yes. We're having a great time.
We love you.
We love you,
honor
Kai. Thank you for leading and founding this movement.
And we
you so
know that
much.
you are with a
Thank you
stellar
all
group
for
of people.
watching. Cheers. Do you have your wine?
Cheers. We love you guys. And we love everyone you're with
Advance
right
happy
now.
Valentine. Share love.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. Love you, girls.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.